They tell us Antarctica is nothing more than ice, a frozen wasteland at the edge of the world. Yet the more you listen to the whispers, the harder it becomes to believe that story. It's as though the continent itself has been locked behind a curtain of silence, hidden under treaties, shrouded by storms, erased from history. And so we ask, what exactly is being kept from us, down there in the coldest place on Earth? Imagine stepping onto that landscape for the first time. The world narrows to white and grey, endless ice sheets stretch beyond the horizon, wind carving them into ghostly ridges. The silence is suffocating, broken only by the deep groan of glaciers, shifting beneath your feet. Yet beneath that silence, beneath that unyielding ice, lie mysteries so profound they could rewrite everything we think we know about human history, and perhaps even humanity itself. The story begins not with explorers but with maps that shouldn't exist. The most famous of them, the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral, shows Antarctica centuries before modern man ever set eyes on it. Stranger still, it depicts not ice, but land, coastlines, mountains, rivers, features that would remain hidden beneath miles of frozen ice, until the 20th century, when radar confirmed their existence. How could a map from the 1500s chart what lay beneath ice, thousands of years old? Who charted it, and when? Some claim these maps are fragments of an older knowledge, passed down from civilizations, erased by time. Others argue they are coincidences, misinterpretations, but standing at the threshold of Antarctica's mysteries, coincidence feels like too weak an answer, especially when one considers what came after. The official story says Antarctica was first sighted in 1820, but scattered fragments of lore suggest otherwise. Ancient Greek texts speak of a southern land, Terra Australis, balancing the earth. Polynesian navigators whispered of journeys into frozen seas. Even the Egyptians, some believe, encoded hints of lands beneath ice within their myths. Legends converge like rivers, all pointing south, as though civilizations across the globe somehow knew of a hidden land at the bottom of the world. And then, there is the strangeness of the 20th century. Expeditions launched not just for science, but for something more. In 1938, Nazi Germany sent a mission to claim swaths of Antarctica, dropping iron swastikas across the ice. Why would a regime obsessed with ancient power and occult knowledge focus so intently on a frozen wasteland? What did they believe they would find there? The world thought the Nazis were defeated, their ambitions scattered. Yet just a decade later, the United States launched Operation High Jump, the largest Antarctic expedition in history, with warships, aircraft carriers, thousands of men. Officially it was for research, but Admiral Richard Byrd, the man in command, let slip something far stranger, that America must prepare to defend itself against flying objects that could move from pole to pole at incredible speeds. What did Byrd encounter in those desolate white wastes? Official reports grew vague. Witnesses were silenced, files vanished, and Antarctica, once a place of intense interest, suddenly became off-limits. By 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was signed, an unprecedented global agreement forbidding territorial claims, military activity, and most importantly, independent exploration. Imagine that in a world where nations compete for every inch of land and resource. The one place they agree to leave untouched is Antarctica. Beneath miles of ice, radar has revealed mountain ranges the size of the Alps, lakes sealed off for millions of years, and vast anomalies that defy explanation. One of them lies buried deep in Wilkes Land, a massive magnetic anomaly, stretching 51 miles across, suggesting the presence of a colossal structure beneath the ice. Some believe it could be a buried meteor. Others whisper it's something artificial, perhaps a ruin, perhaps older than mankind itself. Scientists drilling into Lake Vostok, a dark abyss of water sealed beneath 2 miles of ice, hope to find microbes. What they discovered were organisms that defied known classification. Life unlike anything else on Earth, thriving in total isolation, in darkness, in pressure beyond comprehension. If life could survive there, where else might it exist? But the deeper they probed, the more nervous governments became. Stories began to circulate of researchers suddenly flown out, of labs going silent, of reports classified. Was this just caution or concealment? It is said that knowledge is power. If Antarctica hides secrets of lost civilizations, of technologies buried in ice, of life forms beyond our imagination, who would benefit from keeping them hidden? And more chillingly, who holds the keys to those secrets now? The ice remembers. Every layer, every frozen mile is a time capsule, preserving worlds long vanished. But what if buried beneath those miles is not just history, but something designed to stay hidden, something that was locked away long before we ever walked the earth? And so, as the cold winds of Antarctica scream across the ice, one cannot help but wonder, are we standing on the roof of a forgotten world? A world that someone somewhere does not want us to uncover. Pause. The snow drifts in silence. A continent sleeps beneath its frozen shroud. But the deeper we dig, the more we risk awakening something far older than humanity itself. Beneath that crushing silence of Antarctica's frozen expanse, legends whisper of something far older than us. As the 20th century unfolded, those whispers hardened into claims that shook even the most skeptical historians. Satellite imagery revealed symmetrical ridges beneath the ice, shapes too regular, too precise, to be explained away as mere geology. Entire formations resembling pyramid-like structures appeared scattered across regions, buried for millennia. Scientists dismissed them as tricks of shadows on snow. But deep inside secret archives, rumors told another story, that expeditions, funded in secrecy by governments and shadowy organizations, confirmed what the public was never meant to see. One such story swirls around the infamous Operation High Jump in 1940. Navy mission, a training exercise in hostile conditions. Unofficially, it ballooned into a fleet of 13 ships, over 4,000 men, and advanced aircraft, an astonishing military force for a training exercise. When the mission abruptly ended after only a few months, whispers grew louder. Admiral Byrd, the leader, later gave interviews, suggesting the next war would involve enemies that could fly pole to pole at incredible speeds. Was this merely Cold War paranoia, or a veiled warning of something discovered beneath the ice? Then came the anomalies that could not be dismissed. Drilling operations struck layers of ancient, fossilized vegetation, proof that Antarctica was once lush and green, a continent of forests and rivers. But that was only the beginning. Buried deep in the archives of the 1970s Soviet missions are reports rarely spoken of outside classified circles that described vast caverns below the ice, warmed by geothermal heat. These caverns were not empty. Some described them as labyrinthine chambers, capable of housing entire ecosystems, shielded from the surface world for millions of years. Could something ancient have survived there, locked away since before the first humans walked the earth? Archaeologists and geologists who brushed against these forbidden questions soon found their careers derailed, their findings dismissed, their research lost in the flood of official denial. Yet the evidence kept resurfacing. Strange metallic fragments, recovered from ice cores, whose composition didn't match any known terrestrial alloys. Maps from the 16th century like the Peary Race map, showing an Antarctica free of ice, with coastlines matching modern surveys conducted with satellite radar. How could explorers have drawn what they should never have known? Unless someone, some civilization, had walked that land long before recorded history. And then the most haunting claims of all, sightings of structures, walls, angled and aligned with the stars obscured beneath the snow. Even whispers of colossal entrances, carved into mountainsides, leading into the frozen dark. Some scientists insist these are natural formations, but ask yourself, when does coincidence become too precise? When do shadows hide something we were never meant to see? If such discoveries truly exist, then why the silence? Why the relentless cover-up? Perhaps it is because Antarctica is not simply a desert of ice. It is a vault, a library of secrets buried beneath a frozen tomb. To unlock those secrets would be to rewrite history itself, and perhaps uncover truths too dangerous for mankind to know. The ice holds its breath, waiting, and the question lingers, chilling and unrelenting. What lies beneath, so carefully hidden that nations conspire to keep it secret? The cold never lies. It preserves. It waits. It buries secrets beneath a silence so profound that even the winds seem sworn to silence. As we step into the second half of this journey, we descend deeper into the forbidden heart of Antarctica, a place where official maps end, but whispers of truth begin. The story no longer belongs only to explorers and scientists. It belongs to kings, empires, secret societies, and powers that have pulled invisible strings for centuries. And it begins with a question few dare to ask aloud. Why is Antarctica off limits? Yes, governments say it's for science, for preservation, for peace. But history has taught us that when every nation on Earth suddenly agrees on something, something is being hidden. The Antarctic Treaty of 1959 is unlike anything else in human history. At the height of the Cold War, when the world stood one misstep away from nuclear fire, the United States, the Soviet Union and nearly every great power signed a pact. No nuclear weapons, no military bases, no territorial claims, no digging without permission, no drilling for oil, gas or minerals. Think about that. In a world where men would kill for oil, for land, for resources, suddenly all are united in silence. Why? Some claim it is noble that Antarctica must remain untouched, a sanctuary of science. But what if that is only the story told to keep us away from what really lies beneath? Satellite images have revealed strange geometric patterns buried beneath the ice, perfectly straight lines where no natural process could have carved them. Massive rectangular shapes, kilometers across, lying hidden under glacial sheets. Could these be ancient cities, the remnants of civilizations, erased from history? Whispers echo of Nazi expeditions in the late 1930s, Operation High Jump in 1946, and secret bases carved into the ice. Official reports dismiss these as failures or scientific studies, yet survivors told of things they could not explain. Blinding lights in the sky, strange metallic craft emerging from the mountains, entire fleets retreating in chaos. Was it just a failed naval exercise? Or did Admiral Byrd's men stumble upon something so terrifying, so world-altering that the truth was sealed away forever? And then there are the pyramids. Yes, pyramids. Rising from the snow like ghosts of forgotten kings. Some dismissed as natural formations, others eerily symmetrical, aligned in patterns too precise to be mere coincidence. If the great civilizations of Egypt and Mesoamerica built pyramids to mirror the heavens, who built these in Antarctica? And how old are they? Scientists quietly admit the ice has not always been there. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was warm, fertile, a land of forests and rivers. But what if the ice is much younger than we think? What if entire civilizations flourished here before a sudden cataclysm froze them in silence? The legends of Atlantis speak of a great empire swallowed by the sea, erased in a single night of fire and flood. Could Atlantis, the eternal mystery, actually lie beneath Antarctica's frozen shroud? And here is the darkest thought of all. What if something is still down there, waiting? Strange magnetic anomalies, deep beneath the ice, have baffled researchers. Some suggest massive metallic structures buried so deep they could not be natural. Others whisper of something alive, frozen but not dead. Ancient spores, unknown organisms, entities preserved in timeless slumber. What would happen if man disturbed them? Perhaps the treaty is not for our protection of the ice, but for the ice's protection from us. Because sometimes when you dig too deep into the dark digs back. Pause for a moment and imagine a team of scientists drilling through 2 miles of ancient ice, their equipment trembling as they pierce through a cavern untouched for millions of years. The water, warm, pressurized, erupts into the air, and something comes with it, something not seen since the dawn of man. Would you call it discovery or awakening? The cover-up may not be to hide ancient ruins, nor alien craft, nor forgotten empires, but to contain something older, stranger, more dangerous than we dare imagine. And yet cracks are forming in the silence. Documents declassified, whistleblowers speaking in shadows, satellite images leaked. Every piece points toward the same conclusion. Antarctica is not what we are told it is. It is the edge of a story we were never meant to hear. The question is not whether secrets lie beneath the ice. The question is how long can they stay buried? Because the ice is melting, faster than ever before. Each year, Antarctica bleeds into the sea, revealing fragments of what was hidden, and soon, perhaps within our lifetime, the world will see what has been concealed for centuries. And when that moment comes, what will we find? Ruins of a forgotten empire, proof of alien contact, or something far darker, something that should have remained sealed in eternal ice? The answer is coming. The ice is cracking, and the silence cannot last forever. So I ask you, when the frozen veil is finally lifted, are we prepared for what awaits beneath? The story is only beginning.